Here we are again, another episode. Number 19, another one going into the books. Technically not yet, because I just started. What the fuck am I talking about? And I am also realizing, well, not realizing, it's just kind of a statement that, you know, the camera really does add 10 pounds, as you can see. I don't even need to buy drums. That was just all me. So anyways, yeah, this episode we did some drinking, did some smoking. It's one of my longer ones to date. Which ain't too bad. I guess I'm getting better at this. Or, I don't know, that's just what happens when you know, get high, I guess. What do? You just roll with it, like I've been doing. Oof. I get pretty stuffy. So anyways, yeah, I talked about... The fuck did I even talk about? I'll pull it up here. Fuck. Show notes, where the fuck are you? Oh, yeah. Basically just me binge watching TV all the time, and a little bit of fun that I had from work over the weekend. Kind of. I guess you wouldn't really call it fun, but, you know, whatever. Oh, there we go. Oh, and I had another installment from the boys at Tavour. Some more beer for you. What did I have? Oh, yeah, I had that the germanchocolateale. That was pretty good, nice and thick. And then now for this intro, well, I thought my next box was coming in today, actually, but it's actually going to be in a couple more days, because the app is nice and convoluted like that, but, you know, whatever. My shit's on the way, so that's good. In the meantime, I had to stock up, and I went with this guy, wow. I fucked up holding up to the angle. God damn it. To the camera. I fucked up holding it up to the camera. Sublime Mexican Lager by Alesmith Brewing. Actually, is that what it's called? Or just Alesmith. Anyways. Not bad. Nice and light. Go check it out. Do your own work while you're at it. What's up, guys? Number 19. Back in the closet once again, as per usual. Nothing out of the ordinary. You know what we do? Let me make sure. Alright, we're getting sound. That's good. It is Sunday for me. Actually, Monday now. Monday morning. I was out doing my rounds as usual. Got me a little freezy on the way back. Tomorrow's going to be more of a break. Not from dealing with this shit, but, you know, from working. Also, I did promise you guys that I would bong up this time. Although, I guess really I promised myself, you know. Because I'm going to do what I'm going to do regardless of what you guys want me to do. So, here goes. I already packed it up too. Might actually have to start buying some of my own, because this is some old leftover shit. This stuff's in like it's old. I think I might actually have to grind up some more in a bit, but you know, I might as well get through this bowl with my once again my handy dandy silicone bong. I don't remember what the brand is. but it's pretty nice. I mean, you don't have to worry about like dropping this thing or anything like that. The only thing that's glass is the bowl itself. Everything else is either, you know, this rubber, as you can see, or plastic like the tank here. Let's go ahead and take another one. Or if maybe I have too much water in there. I don't know. I'm not a fucking expert. Whatever. And technically, no one's ever going to be an expert until the government actually gets up off their ass and, you know, federally legalizes this shit. Let's see, what else do I got going on? Ooh, I'm starting to feel that a little bit already. Hopefully I'm not harsh on myself. Alright, so I got one more entry from our, the people. I was about to say the boys, but I mean, that's, you know, it's offensive nowadays. But, got one more entry here from, the Tavour app that I got. This is my last one, but I do have a new box on the way finally. It's, they usually ship out like once a month-ish. So I'll get my you know what? Actually, let me look it up. My next one will come in, I believe it was, yeah, on the 11th. Nice. So that's Tuesday, which is, well, technically tomorrow, but I mean, it's still Sunday night, you know. No, nobody counts, only a fucking, only a dork would say, like, oh, it's midnight, it's tomorrow. Shut the fuck up. No one cares. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so this is my, my last entry of the box that I had. It is, brewery called iciclebrewing out of Leavenworth, Washington. And, these guys have some interesting stuff. I think I had another one earlier that was it was like a lemonade IPA. This one is the German chocolate cake ale. Oh yeah. Now I actually had two of these. I already tried one of these a while back, and it's pretty good. It actually tastes like German chocolate, and it's a darker ale. I forget what this one counts as. I want to say this is technically a porter. Oh, here we go. So you can finally have your cake and drink it too. Dark Persuasion is brewed with rich coconut, vanilla, and cacao nibs, which evoke flavors of German chocolate cake. Yes. Dark roasted specialty malts enhance the chocolate character, and warrior hops. I don't know hops. There's different kinds of hops, obviously. Hops and grains and all them things. Balance the sweet, milk, sugar, and malty goodness, making this milk stout. That's what it is. Delectable and drinkable. So this is a stout. Good old stout. 6.5%. 12-ounce can, which is the normal. Let's go ahead and get it. So, yeah, go ahead and go on to Instagram. Look up Icicle Brewing. Icicle Brewing Company. I believe, you know what, I'll double check it. Let me get the handle for you. For real. And in the meantime. So. As you can see, it's got that, maybe you can see. It's a nice brown, nice dark color. I like a good dark beer. I also had to, one of the nice things about the Tavour app is whenever you put in your subscriptions, or there's a subscription plan, right? And you can, okay, so it's just Icicle Brewing, one word, on Instagram. That's the actual handle. And again, it's called Icicle Brewing Company. They got a bunch of different stuff. I don't think... Well, what's nice about the Tavour app is that you will get stuff that couldn't otherwise get to you, right? Like, I know another brewery that I had a lot of stuff coming from was ETNYC, which is out of New York, and I looked, and right now they only ship within the state of New York, and I guess they just and I'd also just seen the post that they started shipping to Pennsylvania or something like that, but I don't know, it doesn't matter because I'm in California, which is literally thousands of miles away. Let me get a little more comfortable here. But so yeah, German chocolate cake makes a damn good beer. Obviously, this is one of those ones that you can't have, you know, more than one at a time, right? Oof. Get some more freezy. And we'll take another hit. Oh, the bong brand is Dabmate, which I didn't see because I had my hand over the label. So I was literally looking everywhere else except for where I should have been. Which is just the story of our lives. Oh, that looks nice. So the good thing is we're having another episode without any glitches in the video. But I look a little blown out. I think it's because, yeah, I wish... I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. I also get itches in my nose, too. I also just figured out yesterday my nose hair clipper doesn't work anymore, so I gotta figure that out. Let's see. Alright, so what I will do now is I'll get into a little bit of postapocalypse. So, some more articles from the world, or at least just article headlines. Alright, here we go. First one for you Elon Musk fans, which, by the way, I don't know if I already talked about this, but I went back and kind of binged watch all the Marvel movies. The other, oh, Jesus. Sorry about that. I was working earlier today, too, actually. And I always do this late. Middle of the night. But, yeah, I went back and binged all the old Marvel movies, and Elon Musk was in Iron Man 2 for all of about 15 seconds. Which I think that was almost back before, well, the mainstream, well, you know what, I have no, it was before I had any idea who Elon Musk was. I remember, well, I was younger too. So I remember seeing that movie, and, well, I didn't even remember that part at all, and I hadn't really watched the old, a lot of the original movies, like before the first Avengers. Holy fuck, why am I so tired? God damn it. Ugh, shit. His heat's been exhausting the shit out of me, too, for some reason. Anyway, Elon Musk. Here's your first article. Boater's gate crash SpaceX's first splashdown with astronauts. We need to do better, NASA chief says. So, basically what that means is, well, one of the things that they've been doing, one of the things that they've been researching with the whole SpaceX program is the ability to land rockets, which is something that really hasn't been done before. Everybody's familiar with our the Apollo missions, which was the United States attempt to reach the moon, and well, I guess kind of also the Russians too, but I don't actually know what their program was called, but I think they were the first ones to get like, I think they were the first ones to get a man in space, if I remember right. But we, of course, were the first ones to land on the moon, of course, because, you know, America. But, the fuck was I saying? Oh, yeah, but so, you know, obviously early rockets, you know, they would just launch, like, the, that moonlander thing that everybody's seen. And it was in a multi-stage rocket, which, you know, as it went up above the atmosphere, the pieces would fall off and, you know, they'd either get salvaged or fall to the bottom of the ocean or something like that. But what SpaceX has been doing is figuring out a way to have the rockets come down, invert or something like that, so they're engine first towards the ground and, you know, burn off a little bit of flame and land upright, too. But I guess what happened here is well, they fell asleep and died. But no. So they, looks like they got people up into space, and yeah, basically a bunch of locals. I think this was around Florida too, probably. Gulf of Mexico. Yep, Florida. So basically a bunch of locals went out and tailgated the SpaceX test landing. And I don't really even know how you would do better, so to speak. 'Cause I don't know. Do your own work. Look it up. Next up, no, I do not want to be a subscriber. Fuck off. Get out of here. All right. Oh, this is from WAPO. Not handling the pandemic well. Man fires at officers with an AK-47 after refusing to wear a mask, police say. No real comment here. Just don't be that fucking guy. Easy. I'm actually, guys, you know, with the nature of my work, I haven't really seen a lot of, I haven't really seen any altercations. Just once. Just once down in Venice. Venice Beach, not Venice, Italy. I think that town's kind of like a ghost town, from what I understand, since, I mean, all their money comes from tourism, which is not happening anymore. It's definitely not happening from us. For anybody who, well, you should know by now, but yeah, pretty much there's like 10 countries that U.S. citizens are currently allowed in. And I'm not sure if it's a citizen or just anybody coming from the U.S. I forgot. I'm not smoking today, but I took an edible, so I'm on that shit now. Next up, Warren investigates. That's Elizabeth Warren, for those of y'all. Investigates report that FedEx, Walmart punish workers for taking time off. Which is, well, it's good that someone's looking into that sort of thing. We've all heard, you know, horror stories about how, you know, Amazon and before that Walmart and, well, apparently FedEx in this case, you know, treats their employees, especially in the Amazon case now, since I think I remember seeing that there's some places that have robot supervisors, so overseeing people, and this robot, or yeah, they're what would the word be? Not algorithm, maybe subroutine. So the program. That's the word I want. So this program is basically, it tracks people or workers in the warehouse, and it can actually terminate people's work. It can fire them. Yeah, it can terminate them. All right, never mind. Disregard that. I don't want them getting any ideas. And what would be a really good idea is if we go to the next article. Oh, yeah, this was kind of interesting. So, I live in Los Angeles, right? You know, home of celebrities and the stars and all that bullshit. So, as you can imagine, LA is one of those places that has, you know, a lot of, I guess, famous parties. I don't know. I wouldn't know. Or mansion parties, right? And from what I understand, there's a lot of, you know, quote-unquote mansions that they're really just party houses. You know, nobody actually lives there. I know we've all heard the stories about how Leonardo DiCaprio has something like this. He has a house that he throws parties at, and a lot of times he doesn't even show up. I mean, I'm sure there's other celebrities that probably do the same thing. But, which is what makes the title of this article interesting, is coronavirus. Los Angeles to shut off water and power to party houses. So, it's kind of an oddly specific but really interesting move. Because, I don't know if anybody's seen, well, actually, I don't care if you guys have seen it. I've seen it. I've seen some articles about, you know, a lot of people are saying with, you know, viral tracking that a lot of the majority of these outbreaks occur from, you know, situations like house parties where, you know, it's quite literally just a lot of people gathered together. Obviously, nobody's enforcing shit, and a bunch of people get sick. And so this is LA's way of trying to, well, deal with that. Because, I don't know, one thing about, you know, LA is, it's oddly diverse. Because you have, I mean, LA City is obviously very left-leaning. But then once you go into, like, Orange County and kind of just anywhere outside of the cities, it's completely the other way. So, you know, you're never going to have like because it is a little bit swingy, but also at the same time, you know, the population of LA is enough that we're almost always going to be a blue state. But the point being is that just, you know, from community to community, there's just such a huge swing, and you can't really, there isn't that kind of political unification around here. And, you know, the thing is, you know, a lot of people criticize the government of California. A lot of people criticize the government of California for, you know, not really having either strict enough enforcements or whatchamacallit, reasonable ones, I think is the word I want to use. You know, they haven't been, you know, putting out a lot of rules that make sense. But wow, this light makes it looks like I have a kind of gappy in my teeth. Whatever. The point I'm trying to make is that we just have too many people who are just going to do whatever they want to do, regardless of, well, rules. So, I don't know. Oh, and because of that, our state was one of the problem states that had to shut down again, which that's not news to anybody. It kind of sucks for me, you know, especially doing deliveries and stuff. Like, I was excited when, you know, some things like some of the malls and all that started opening back up, and it's like, oh, good, you know, I can, I have somewhere I can, like, go take a shit if I need to. Well, that's done. Again, unless they have restaurants, I don't know, because I already had a bad experience with one mall that was, shopping center that was open, but they still had all of their public bathrooms were completely locked. I mean, I guess there's no other way to lock something other than completely, but shit was locked. So that's stupid on them and insidious. Okay. Let's do a couple more. Next one is New York Attorney General. Fuck. I'm already losing the ability to read incoherent sentences. New York Attorney General moves to dissolve the NRA. That's the National Rifle Association, I believe, after fraud investigation. Let's see. Yeah, AG of New York took action Thursday to dissolve the National Rifle Association, I was right, following an 18-month investigation that found evidence the powerful gun rights group is with fraud and abuse. So there you go. And I get it, it makes sense, because, you know, anytime the NRA has been one of the most, or it has been the most influential group as far as why we haven't had, you know, really major gun control laws following, you know, especially after this whole string of school shootings that we had over the last few years. And mass shootings, you know, there was a couple of malls and theaters in there too, I'm sure. But, you know, it's just... Oh, and they haven't said anything about... But then they... And, you know, they go on and on and on about, you know, the right to own guns and, you know, for safe use. But then they also haven't been saying anything about, whatchamacallit, as far as police reform and safe gun use there. I mean, we kind of went through a whole, and we're still going through months of protests over that sort of thing. But you don't hear anything, you know, from the NRA, or even better, you didn't hear anything out of them about the situation that we had in Portland with the quote unquote federal officers who were just running around snagging people. So, you know, there's a lot of fuckery going on with the NRA, and one of my personal mottos is that fuckery cannot be rewarded in any way, shape, or form. So, even if it's necessary to commit fuckery, which in the NRA's case, it really isn't. So, as I'm sure some people have been doing while still in quarantine, supposedly, just watching a lot of TV. I was rewatching all the old Punisher series, which actually isn't really that old, but, you know, the old one on Netflix. Oh, excuse me. Starring the main man, Jon Bernthal, as Frank Castle. And, well, that one went on for... They got a couple seasons out of it. And, yeah, all those Marvel shows that they had on Netflix, they all had about 2 or 3 seasons before everything got shut down for them. Not because of any quarantine, but they got shut down because, well, you know, Disney owns Marvel, right? And obviously, as you know, they just came out with their own streaming app, Disney Plus, which means that they would rather not be under a contract with another streaming service such as Netflix. So that's why they went in and they just canceled everything. Which not like they did kind of try and tie up all the different series, but yeah, it just kind of sucks because I mean they were good shows, didn't really need to be canceled, but, you know, they were, and not for anything as much as, you know, quality of product or anything like that. The good news, however, is I did hear a rumor a while back that Disney does want to reboot The Punisher again on their own services, and they want Mr. Bernthal back. So, you know, at least it'll be good. So, it'll be interesting to see what they do. It was also interesting because, for whatever reason, I literally forgot, like, what half of the second season was about when they had two storylines going on. They had the Jigsaw storyline with their version of Billy Russo, who in the comics was really just like he was literally just like a mob boss who you ever find it like hard to swallow, like there's just some gunk right in your throat, like just above, and you can't quite get it down. Well, you know, those are my problems. You know, some people are you know, being evicted from their homes, and I have gunk in my throat, which, you know, gives me perspective as to what's important in the world, I guess. Well, it was me. But anyways, so yeah, in the comics, Billy Russo is the some mob boss who, I guess, and I think they did this. I think they might have done this better with that second Punisher movie that they came out with what's his face? Not the one with Thomas Jane, not that first one that came out, but it was one that came out later with fuck. You know what? Why don't we look up his name? I know it was the same guy who played Volstagg in the Thor movies, which is the he was the big guy with the brown hair. Also, I didn't really notice that they literally just did away with all those characters in Ragnarok, because what's her face? Hela shows up. Why the fuck don't I have IMDb? But yeah, she literally just shows up and just shanks all of them. Motherfucker. Which is too bad. But, I mean, I guess it's better than canceling an entire fucking series. Marvel. Alright, give me a second. The Punisher, that's what I was looking at. The Punisher. Okay, so there's the series. Let's see. Yeah, the first season was 2017. Next one was later. Oh, there's a 1989 Punisher. I wonder who that was. No, I do not want. When Frank Castle's family is murdered by criminals, he wages war on crime as a vigilante assassin known only as the Punisher. I am sure it is full of all kinds of weird 80s shit. Oh, starring Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher. Nice. So they dyed his hair brown, or black, basically. Let's see, and now, to be fair, I'm not fully aware of a lot of the Punisher characters, like the villains, because, I mean, a lot of them are old characters and have been dead for a while, and I've also kind of been out of the comics for quite some time, too, because I used to use a digital service that, what did happen? I used to be able to, I would used to use a digital service that had, you know, a lot of comics, especially like both Marvel and DC, and what they used to use, you used to be able to buy direct from iTunes on the app, so I could literally just, you know, look up something, and click buy, and then it was mine, right? But then they changed it, so they disconnected the their app from the iTunes service. Obviously, you can still download it, and it was in the App Store and all that, but they made it so now you have to go onto their website and, buy from there and then go back to your phone and desk, but, whatever. Okay. So, there was the Thomas Jane movie, which was 2004's The Punisher. And the one I'm thinking of is Punisher Warzone, 2008. Frank Castle, known as Punisher, ruthlessly demolishes organized crime, but it starts an even bigger war. I won't give the plot away, but Ray Stevens, that's who Stevenson plays Frank Castle in this movie. And also Volstagg and Thor. All three Thors. Let's see, he was in Kill the Irishman. He was, what else was he? The Vikings show. And Medici. There's got to be some other big ones. He did some animated Star Wars. One, he's in one of the transporters. Who did he play? Fuck. Which one was it? I think that was the new one with what's his face? Someone, I don't know. And then their version of Billy Russo was played by Dominic West. But so the point that I was originally getting at was, in that movie, that Billy gets the name the Jigsaw when the Punisher basically pushes him into a big old glass compactor or cruncher, whatever, and somehow the guy in his face gets all cut up and fucked up, but somehow that's the only part that gets affected because the rest of his body's fine. And then, yeah, basically the point of the movie is he looks like shit now, right? But, well, in the series, they took a completely different approach. Their Russo was actually one of Castle's military brothers who, well, there's a whole bunch of backstory, but Castle is also the reason in there for his face being all fucked up, but it's a lot more realistic. It doesn't look like a leather face mask. It looks like he actually got cut up and all that stuff. And also, they also changed the story around a little bit. They never actually call him the Jigsaw. He only gets called Jigsaw once in the entire series, which is kind of it's cool, I guess, but it's not just his face that gets fractured; it's also his mind that gets fractured. Like he loses years off of his life after getting his ass kicked, basically. But I won't get too much into that. Do your own work. Go watch the shows yourself. Get your own Netflix or whatever, or just look it up. I guess I don't think any of those shows are also on the Disney service because, well, yeah, they're Netflix. I don't know. I haven't really looked myself. Another thing for you guys to do by yourselves. Meanwhile, oh, I got some lungs on me apparently. If only I could do something cool, like be a metal singer or some shit like that. But, anyways, my returning four-way. Dude, I wish I had a four-way. Actually, no, never mind. Fuck that. I'm barely... I get enough in the one-way, or two-way, I guess you would call it. Oh, God, this thing's good. You definitely can't have more than one of these, though. I think I said that already. But, yeah, so after I was done with the Punisher, I had to, oh, fuck, I'm not even done talking about it. But, yeah, like I said, that was the first half of, or not the first half, but that was half of the second season. The other half was, they got into, like, a little bit of, well, they had their other villain, which I believe he's probably like an old classic Punisher villain, but they had a guy known as Pilgrim, who they kind of tied in like some real like churchy cultist type of stuff, and then also a little bit of an Aryan Brotherhood type of thing going on, because so apparently that character used to be a white supremacist in New York City, and he, you know, did a job, whatever, went out into like the Midwest or whatever it was, you know, just away from the city, and kind of, you know, ended up in jail and basically got bailed out by like some rich folk who, you know, use their goodwill to have him. Yeah, that character's pretty good too. He gets his ass a lot though in the show, but he definitely does his he gets his money's worth, so to speak. Anyway, after the Punisher, I ended up going to the Marvel series again that I'd already seen, because I was scrolling down on the Netflix. Fuck, I will be a grown-ass adult with a regular voice someday. I don't know when. It's not going to be today. And that's fine, because, you know, there's a lot of people with normal masculine voices who don't have a podcast and won't ever be shit. So, that's fine with me. And if I'm talking about you, sorry, that's just the way it is. Oh, you really only need to be good for yourself in most cases, but, you know, not for me. I'm not most cases. I need to be more than just good for myself. You know, I know who I am, and I'm just one of those people who needs to be heard. You know what I mean? So, you know, doing this, well, you don't really have a choice. I mean, you do have a choice. You could, you know, stop listening or click off or something like that. But, I mean, I don't have to, you know, listen to you, I guess. So, but that's that. And also, maybe whenever I get a normal voice, I might get to my point, actually. But, you know what, first I'm going to take another drag here. Alright, I think this one's cashed out. Ooh. Smoky! As I was scrolling down on, fuck, I can't even remember. On Netflix. I was scrolling down on Netflix, and I got to the, Black Artists section. The first one was Luke Cage, who is another... That was another series that Marvel did in that whole run of Marvel Netflix series of the like a darker, realistic series. And in this case, I didn't bother with the first season because whatever. What I did bother with though was the second season, which is. You know, so he'd already kind of made a bit of a name for himself, and they'd already had the Defender series that had, you know, Luke Cage with Daredevil, Iron Fist, and what the fuck's her name? Jessica Jones. So this follows that, and he kind of continues his struggle with the local gangs in his city of Harlem. Jesus Christ. I'm just burping and coughing and swallowing all kinds of shit, though. But the part that I liked about the series is that he also gets in a tussle with the Jamaican gang, or a Jamaican gang, and their leader, who is the classic Luke Cage villain, the Bushmaster, who in the comics he was just kind of he's just a thug basically with powers, and he's been dead for quite some time. But in this, they made it like a whole cool thing. Like he has his own beef with the other gang that Cage is already fighting, the Stokes or whatever. But this guy, so he gets his powers through herbs, basically. He mashes some shit up and smokes it basically, or inhales it, like some Santeria voodoo type of shit. And he gets strong. Like, he can somewhat stop bullets. So he does get shot a few times. Like, it still goes into his skin, but that's where it stops. And he's super strong. And he knows capoeira. And there is a lot of Jamaican accents flying around in the series. But it's kind of cool because I feel like I don't think there's ever really been like a mainstream anything that focuses on, any facet of Jamaican culture. Like, the closest thing I can think of was the second Bad Boys movie, where they get in a shootout with some Jamaican gang, but there was no culture there. There was just some accents. It was basically just some guys in like a fucking smokehouse or whatever it's called, who, yeah, they were just thugs too in that movie. Sorry, I'm just looking up. I'm looking up the actor that played the Bushmaster, because he was a pretty good actor, and also he was just a really good dude. So yeah, Mike Coulter played Luke Cage. I think that was kind of like a new role for him. But and then Theo Rossi was also one of the bad guys. Let's see, a bunch of other actors. Oh yeah, Rosario Dawson, of course. Oh, here we go. Look up Mustafashakir. Let's see. IMDb says he's the actor, writer, and director. So he plays the Bushmaster. And yeah, he's just got it. It's a really good story. It's really interesting too, and he's not just like a straight up villain either. It's like they did it so you're actually sympathetic towards this character, which is how you get a good villain. Let's see, I don't really. I'm looking at his IMDb. I think this is probably like the biggest role that he's played to date, because everything else is just kind of smaller stuff. Appearance on NCIS, just like everybody else. Who's on Shameless? I'll have to look at that. But yeah, and then just a bunch of yeah, never mind. Yeah, just about mostly just smaller roles, but yeah, this was I don't think he does as much acting normally, because like it says, he's also a writer and director as well. I don't know. It was a good role. He did some He did some fighting. Some capoeira shit. It's a good show. Again, do your own work. I'm not sure, I'm not here to hold your hand. But I'm not here to slap it away either, you know what I mean? Alright. Alright, I think I hit the bottom of this. No more to smoke. Maybe done with smoke, yeah? It is also interesting because you kind of actually learn like a little bit of the Jamaican whatever. Or maybe that's just what they did for the show. I don't know. It's cool. Go see it for yourself. I don't really have to... No, I don't want to cancel typing. Fuck you. Other than that, it's mostly just been, well, I got to see some friends over the last week. I finally got to get a game of Warhammer in with the new rules that came out. I played my knights, which are basically just the big manned robots that normally run around and stomp everything. But I actually ended up losing because, yeah, knights are that great for holding objectives, and, well, I mean, I wasn't really trying to worry about anything too much because, you know, I'm not gonna be amazing on my first game in a new edition, and I'm also kind of rusty. I haven't played in a few months, like most people, but so it was good. And yeah, I was out at a buddy's house. He lives out in the more the boonies outside of up north of LA, if you will. It was nice, like a little mini road trip, not too far away, like an hour away from where I am. What else? Oh yeah, that, and just sort of working, trying to make some for later. I gotta save up now, especially because I'm gonna be flying back home this next month. I got a friend's wedding to go to. A little bit of nice stuff going on and all this, which will be interesting to see how that works out. He doesn't really seem like the type to now he planned this last year, which is obviously well before any sort of, you know, pandemic bullshit going on. And I'm saying bullshit to the actual virus itself, not to, you know, the measures taken against it, unlike some people who are themselves bullshit. So, I am not one of those people. I hope you're not either. But if you are, you know, I don't mind if you keep listening. That's just the way of the world, right? Fuck, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, speaking of home state, South Dakota, they recently, so every year they have the Sturgis Biker Rally, which is it's around the Black Hills in my home state of South Dakota, which is, and the hills side is the west side of the state, and that's the Rocky Mountains, I think. Yes, the Rocky Mountains. And yeah, so every year, like, several thousand bikers show up and pretty much take over a small town. A lot of them are just, like, wannabe bikers or retirees or stuff like that. But you get some legit, you know, deplorables, I guess. Because I remember hearing, like, before they had the, or when they were coming out with all this, God damn it, what can I speak? With all like the protests and white nationalist bullshit starting up again. I know they're saying that one thing that you do see a lot, or no, it was after the whole thing with, we need to like take down Confederate statues and all that bullshit that started up, again over the last couple months. I remember seeing something that they were saying that apparently Confederate flags are a big, it's something that you see a lot at the rally because, I don't know, you just have those kind of people, right? And I did also see an article a while back. Apparently there was like a holdover Confederate community somewhere in my home state. I don't remember exactly where. And I didn't save the article, but I don't know. I mean, I guess it's kind of interesting. It's also kind of, well, that kind of thing doesn't really represent me or anybody I know. Fortunately, I didn't know anybody who was, into like Southern pride or anything like that, which, I mean, really, Southern pride is not the Confederacy. All right? You can't have pride over a distorted battle flag of a nation that no longer exists because it tried to turn traitor against the United States and we crushed them. Not we, but the people of the time, right? Oh, speaking of the Confederacy, I also found an interesting thing. I'm sure I'm sure a lot of you are aware of what the Electoral College is, which is the system that we use in voting, which means that they take they somehow base they take like the population of a state and then in some way divvy that up based on they divvy that number up into electoral votes. So like several 100,000 people could be a single vote one way or another. And this is really only for the presidential or voting for presidential candidates, I think. I don't think they do this with other areas, like, well, especially if they're in state, right? But yeah, so what they do is I think the truth is nobody really knows how the Electoral College works, which is how you know that it's bullshit. But from what I understand, they take the total population and yeah, that's divvied up into it's divvied up into percent. See? It's bullshit. I can't, you know what they say about, if you can't explain a scam to a 7-year-old in like 5 minutes, you're the one who's getting scammed. That's what the Electoral College is. It's a scam on you and me. Also, I'm finally going to be hopefully voting for the first time this year. I have to go in and update my my mail-in status, but I did register earlier, so first for me. Anyways, so what they do is they have the population and then they count the they somehow use like the percentages of votes one way or another and use that to make individual electoral votes that then, between all the states get funneled into, who gets voted in as president. But the point I was getting at is, what's interesting that I found out is apparently the Electoral College idea is also another holdover from the Confederacy, because So apparently what happened is now this also happened at a time when most of the U.S. wasn't, or yeah, most of the United States continent wasn't really the U.S. yet. As in, or well, shit, maybe they were by then. Or at least halfway. But, yeah, it was still mostly like the eastern half of the continent was really states, but, you know, it was still growing. So, what the southern states did, especially when they were under the Confederacy, or at least gearing up to be, is, so they obviously, a person who was enslaved obviously was not really considered a person, which is obviously its own problem in and of itself that I don't, you know, condone. But, which also, of course, meant that they were not allowed to vote. However, so before, you know, I guess predating the Civil War, like kind of going up to it, maybe some, I don't know the dates, I just know like the general stuff, but apparently, so where they had a problem was the northern states who had already abolished slavery, you know, those people were allowed to vote, right? So what you ended up with was the northern states had exponentially more voters than the southern states, which for any in-state thing, that's not really a big issue, but for something as the president, that basically meant that the southern states didn't really have hardly any representation because they just didn't have the voters. So what they did is they basically spearheaded the idea of creating this thing called the Electoral College, which somehow made they could still count, you know, the enslaved as part of their population without letting them vote, and then the percentages would kind of, you know, make an even balance between the northern and the southern states. And I'm still not entirely sure how it works, and I don't really need to because it's bullshit, and, well, you know, most people would agree that it needs to go away, especially now that we don't even, well, technically we don't have slavery anymore, but, you know, this is, you know, humans and the world that we're talking about, so there's bullshit going on everywhere. And there's parts of the world that still suffer from slavery, and, well, you don't really hear about that much anymore, which is unfortunate. You need to. So I'm telling you right now, again, go look it up yourself. Do your own work. Icicle. Yummy, yummy, yummy. But yeah, working this weekend was kind of interesting. I actually had a couple of no-shows for the first time in a while. And it also got really interesting. I was, not, but the previous night, I was getting ready to call it quits when I got into the, kind of the kosher area of West LA, or West Hollywood. And, you know, after that, it was just something like bam, 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 order. So, fuck, I was trying to go home, but yeah, so I made a decent amount of money, but, you know, I did have a couple of no-shows, which got a little bit odd, especially when I went to someone's apartment building, because, so I'm talking, so the night in question, or in discussion, I guess I should say, that I'm talking about, was Saturday night, which I believe that is the day of the Jewish Sabbath, as opposed to Sunday, like the Christians. So Saturday is their day of rest. Oh, now I'm getting a little heartburn. It's probably from the beer. Good thing I'm having more. Well, I had some fast food earlier too. That's probably not that good for me, but drive for work, you gotta do something. I also need to start running and stuff like that again. Tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow after editing this bullshit. But, wow, we're at 46 minutes already. Oh, I guess the Swede's doing its thing. Or I'm just rambling like a fucking moron. Oh, this is going to be harder to edit too, I bet. God damn it. Anyway. I forgot already. Oh, yeah. But so, if you're Orthodox Jewish, on the Sabbath, or the Shabbat, if you're like a really militant or very practicing Orthodox Jew, then you will also partake in the practice of refraining from using electronics on the day of the Sabbath. So normally, to get around this, if you're a particularly wealthier or more affluent Jewish family, I guess, I don't know, you can hire what's known as a Shabbos Goy, who's basically a Gentile, like, you know, someone who's a non-Orthodox Jew, like me, to basically, you know, just come over all day and, you know, flip on switches on and off, do texts, answer phones, and all that shit. Because, yeah, you're not allowed to use electronics. They are, however, allowed to enjoy something that has already been activated before the time period of the Shabbat. So, like, for example, if you were to turn on TV and go to a certain channel, like Friday night or whatever, and you just leave it on, it's good to go. You're not interacting with it. You're just, you know, watching. Now, if you were to be like, oh, change the channel, then, you know, you're going to hell, apparently. I don't know. But, so anyways, I did get stuck in one position, which I think this might have been the case. I wouldn't know because I couldn't find the guy. Because I was in this guy's apartment building, and there were no steps that I could see. And I know this because I went looking, and I got locked in the garage. And I had to come around again and get buzzed in again, which I'm not really sure how how that was able to work out either. But the elevators in this building were turned off. It seems I was sitting there pressing the buttons, and they weren't fucking moving at all. And I did see on the other side there was like a key activation thing. I don't know how it works. And, you know, I tried calling and texting the guy, and there was no answer. In fact, even after a few, it like started hanging up immediately. So, you know, I had to leave the guy shit in the lobby and leave a text message like, hey, this is what happened. You didn't pick up. So, don't come at me. Pay attention. Or have your fucking guy pay attention. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah. Last little bit. Speaking of working, another newbie, or another new experience for me. I had a guy named, I delivered to a guy named Catfish. It was a guy named Catfish. And as you can imagine, he was a big black dude, which is fine. And I know that it wasn't just like, oh, maybe it was like a nickname, but it was one of the ones where they actually came out to meet me and get their order. I said, like, hey, man, you're Catfish. He's like, that's me. And he got I don't know if MTV was any indicator. I was expecting to have the door answered by some, you know, fat Asian who's, because, you know, I'd be getting catfish. Obviously, come on, keep up, guys. Maybe a couple gay guys with a whole film crew or some shit like that, but it didn't happen. You know, this man got his food, and I got my money, and that's all that matters. And, you know, I hope that y'all out there are able to, if you already got your money, I hope you can get your food. If you need your food, I hope you're getting your money. Alright, let's do one more. This one should be fun for all you sci-fi fans. Shinto priests bless Japan's life-size Gundam head in completion ceremony. Which did I... Oh... Yeah. So... Okay, so that article was a few days before this next one. Japan's life-size, fully functional 55,000 pound Gundam is now complete. So, for those of you who don't know, Gundam is one of the cornerstone big time anime series about, well, people fighting in giant robots. And yeah, so Japan, for whatever reason, they, someone, I think it was the government, but it probably might have been just like a private group, decided that it would be a great idea to build an actual working life-size Gundam robot. And, well, I'm gonna paraphrase the article, obviously, but they fucking did it. This thing, like, they got it to walk. And if you can imagine, you know what? I'll put a picture up. I'll put a picture right here for you guys to see. As you can see, this thing is like, it's as tall as a building. And it can, you know, step around a little bit. And, you know, maybe that just means that they're getting ready for, you know, some fucking dinosaur to come crawling out of the ocean at some point. And they'll be the only ones. But, I mean, they're also our buddies too, right? Maybe not anymore. Trump's lost us a lot of people everywhere, including here. I feel like I'm just talking out of my ass at this point. So, once again, if you listened all the way through, thank you. Your patronage means, well, technically it only means about one view's worth, but it means a lot to me personally, I guess. That's what I want to say. So, thank you for another episode. We are almost hitting our 20s. Over here, we're nearly, our show will soon be upperclassmen in college. Or no, shit. 20 is just your sophomore year. Fuck. Alright, never mind. We're getting there. Anyways, stay tuned for next